Hey, what's up, everyone? Well, so much for an easy customization, disassembly, and reassembly of the Benchmade 945, the Mini Osborne. I had it dyed yesterday, then I spent well over an hour trying to get the damn Omega spring back onto the axis lock. Every single time I tried it, I'll shoot off somewhere where it landed somewhere on my brown carpet. Hopefully today we can finally get this damn thing assembled. Now that we have our scales dyed to the shade that you want, it didn't turn out to be what I expected. I expected it to be more of a smoky blue. This is more of a charcoal gray. Still, I think it looks pretty good. The next step that we're going to do is that we're going to disassemble the 940. I seldom disassemble any of my knives for the fact, well, for one thing, some of the knives can be a little bit tricky. In fact, I do admit the Benchmade is one of them. We'll start off with the smaller screws. I'm using a T6 Torx bit. The T6 is the size that you need to open up the smaller screws. Including this clip. By the way, it is an aftermarket clip, and this is what we're going to attach onto the new scales. There it is. Now we have all the screws. Well, I still have a couple more here. And the ones at the bottom. Now while the small screws are removed, I want to use a size 8 Torx bit to remove the pivot. It helps if you press your finger underneath the other side. And once that's out, you want to push it out and just pull it out. Now your knife is completely disassembled. Here's a couple barrel spacers. This is your axis lock, which is held in by the Omega springs. I try to not to take it off. It is very tricky trying to get it back in. So carefully remove the part from the scale. And what you have here is you have your two-tone G10 scales that we're going to replace. Take off the bronze washer here. The one thing that I was trying to avoid, unfortunately, it just happened. I was trying to keep the axis lock together, but the moment I picked it up, it fell apart. As you can see, it's all in pieces. And the main thing is that what causes me all my frustration yesterday was this two liners. You have this two liners, and you have one little stop pin. Now you're just going to put the other liner on top and line it up with a stop pin. As you can see, there's a little bit of a cutout right here. This is where your axis lock fits in, and you just need to push it up and slide it down that little groove. Simple enough. Now, where I was struggling at yesterday was where the spring itself is supposed to go on as you can see in this little cutout, there's a slight notch on the upper right hand corner. That's where it's supposed to be. And that's the tricky part, because as you can see, you have this little S-hook, the Omega spring. Okay, and this time I'm going to hold it this way and see if I can just push it in right into that. Ah, there we go. I got one side in. Now, let's do the same on this side, and hopefully we can have it stay together. Okay. There we are, folks. We did it. Holy crap, we finally did it. Wow. Now, after that, I'm going to lay it on top of the scale. And well, I have one side in. I know the spring just popped off. Let's just screw it in place. You don't want to over tighten it since you're still trying to assemble it. Come on, the 100th time is it. This should be it, hopefully. Pinch it in place so it doesn't fly off. There we are, folks. Think we got it, finally. Wow, that was a pain. Okay, let's carefully set it down. The next step is you want to put the barrel spacers in. I'm going to screw it in here. And with the barrel spacers, I think it takes the longer screws. You just want to hold it in place with your finger, and you drop in the screw just snug enough. There we go. Whew, we're finally getting somewhere, folks. Set it down carefully because I don't want that damn spring to pop off again. Let's put in the other half of the scales. So far, so good. Once screwing the first part of the liner, the top part first, it will help if you actually grip the liner from the inside as you're pushing it in. There we go. Again, I'm not going to completely tighten it. I'll just leave it just a little bit loose until everything is assembled here. There we go. Now, let's screw in the other part of the spacers. I'm using the longer screws for the spacers and the short ones for the liners. There we go. Just tight enough, not overly tighten. And now the last screw for this bottom spacer. Let's make sure that everything's working. So far, so good. Now we're finally getting somewhere, and we just need to put the blade in. But before we do, that I want to make sure that all the oil residue and the grime that's around the pivot area has been cleaned off. And as well as for the blade itself, take off some of that residue off there. Well, there we go, folks. We're finally getting somewhere. The hardest part is over. We have the handle completely assembled. Access lock seems like it's working just fine. Let's put on the pocket clip. Again, this is an aftermarket pocket clip. I kind of like it. I kind of like that copper tone on it. It's just a personal preference, but I think the deep carry pocket clips are a little bit better, and this way you can just conceal it without raising any type of eyebrows. And of course, one way of doing it is you want to put the screws in the hole first, and this way it just makes it a little bit easier when you're trying to screw it in. Again, not too tight because you still need to put on the other screw. Just want to make sure that everything's lining up right before you try to put the screw in, or attempt to. Or like me, almost end up losing it. There we go. Let's tighten her down. There. We have a fully assembled handle. Now we just need to put in our blades. The next step will be putting in just a couple drops. Again, I've never tried this. This is made by Tough Glide. Typically with me, I just use some sort of oil, thin oil. You don't want to be too thick or have a lot of viscosity. And what I found that's ideal for me, and that's what I've been using for many years, is something like this. A gun oil. This one had a lot of good reviews, and so I'll give it a shot. They say that all you need is just a drop, so we'll just put a drop and just kind of smear it around the hole, and just a little bit in the hole itself. Then after that, you want to put the washers on, and they say that the side that's shinier, it's the side that goes against the knife. However, I can't really tell the difference, except I notice that one side is smoother than the other, so I'm assuming that's the side that will go on the knife. Well, I'm still holding on to that. I'll put a drop on this side. And again, I'm not noticing which side is actually shinier, so I'm going to use the smoother side and press it against the knife. Now the hard part begins because you need to actually try to put this right in between the liners. So you want to try to get it sandwiched right in there, and while keeping everything lined up. Okay. I think I'm going to use this paintbrush and see if that can help me line things up here. Okay, so far so good. And if you look at it, this pivot is not quite round. It's not completely circular. As you see, it has a little flat edge, flat bottom. So you just need to try to figure out on which side and just kind of work your way into it until you find one that just sits in properly. There we go. Whoo! There we are, folks. There we are. And last and the final step. But before we do, if you want to disassemble your knife or any of your knives, will probably be a good idea using the blue 242 Loctite. Now, let's put this a little bit of Loctite and see if we just kind of spread it. There we are. And for the pivot, you want a Torx bit size 8. And you just want to kind of press the bottom part. You can actually screw it in. There we are. Very nice. Look at that, folks. Smooth as butter. Now, let's tighten up the rest of the screws. You don't want to over tighten it because you can definitely strip it. You just want it to be snug enough so it's not going to come loose on you. There we are, folks. It took us only 2 days, but we finally did it. There. That is one good looking knife. So if you're up for the challenge, and as you can see by my own frustration and aggravation, that yes, you could definitely personalize, customize, and modify your Benchmade 945. Of course, I had a little bit of a learning curve. It might be a little bit easier for you. Is it worth it? I think so. Just look at it, folks. That is a good looking knife. Anyway, folks, that's about it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, please smash that like, leave your comments down below, and consider subscribing for some more knives, fishing, and kit videos. You guys take care, and I'll talk to you later.